Enjoy that nice 5-pot note. Yes guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today, as you will have seen, we are talking about it. It's finally time to talk about my opinion on the ST versus the VXR. Now the things, as I say, the things I'll talk about in this video are simply my opinion, my views alone, things that I remember from having the ST, things like that. So we're going to compare the two, see how we end up. I already know how this is going to go because I've got everything written down. I've got an absolute massive list. So wrote it all down here. So let's crack on. Let's get going. Right, guys, I'm going to break this down for you and give you an insight as to how I've structured this video. So the first one we'll talk about is servicing. The second one we'll talk about will be running costs. Third one will be mods, and the last one will be common faults. Now I've listed obviously both for the VXR and the ST. So we'll start with services. So what I've done is I've broken this down into oil, filters and plugs, because I think that they're the main ones, especially driving modified cars. That's the main ones that we come across. So you've got the oil, obviously you're going to need oil, you need an oil filter. Cabin filter I've included with the working out the cost, but I haven't included an air filter because most of us run aftermarket ones anyway. I certainly did on the ST, and obviously now that I've changed this one has a better one in my opinion. So they obviously don't need changing anywhere near as regular as you would if you were doing services. So oil filter, pollen filter and plugs. Now the cost on all these prices you can look up yourself, are true to what I found. I'm not trying to blag anyone here. This is simply cost, what I found. Now a lot of what I found was via the A&E Motorsport website. Everyone knows that, you know, I've used them a few times with the ST and with the VXR. Most of the prices were from, you know, the comparison on their website, because they actually do a service where you can almost customize your service package. So if you just want oil filter plugs, you can have that. If you want uprated plugs, well, especially for the ST anyway, if you want this, if you want that, if you don't want this, if you don't want that, you can put it in there and it will then obviously generate a price. What I did was went for the most similar, so the package that was most similar on both levels. Now on one side you got the VXR, on the other side we have the ST, and the VXR for the oil filter, the oil, the pollen filter and the plugs came to £80. The ST was £130. So straight away there's a win for the Vauxhall. Now what I've done, I've broken these ones down into petrol, insurance, tax and tyres. Them are the most common things that you're going to be replacing across both, you know. So running costs across both, that is pretty much what you're going to have to spend money on in the time that, you know, you own a car pretty much. Let's be honest, most car enthusiasts will have their cars for a lot longer than Joe Bloggs who buys this and sells it, buys that and sells it, drives it for 6 months or whatever. They're not bothered about these sorts of things. They're not interested. But people like us that want to look after our cars, this is what we do. This is what we change, this is what we have to put the money into the car for. So I'm going to start with petrol. Now, there's not much difference. If I'm completely honest, there's not much difference between the ST fuel bill and the VXR fuel bill. The ST fuel bill should be up here and the VXR should be down here, but they're not. There's only a couple of quid difference. So when I had the ST, I was only putting in probably £30 a week, and I haven't changed my driving style particularly much. I have actually, but I do the same amount of miles. You know, I probably do slightly more if I'm being honest. I probably did around 80 to 100 in the ST a week, whereas the VXR I've noticed actually I am doing around 110, so a little bit more, but I am actually putting in a little bit less. So I suppose if you wanted to round it up, you could say it was a lot more different, but I'm still putting in about 25 to 30 quid a week, whereas the ST was just bang on 30 quid every week, no matter what. I was putting in 30 quid. So I'd say that's sort of a draw, if you like. So then I looked at the insurance. Now I've literally this morning, it's Friday today. This morning I had Greenlight ring me, asked me if I want to go ahead with my insurance. Now before they'd rang, I actually knew they were going to ring, but I'd done a comparison. I've been on comparison websites looking at prices, and shopping around wasn't actually any better. Didn't help me out in any way, shape or form. It was going to cost me a lot more. So what I was looking at was around £525-ish for the year. That's all mods declared. So I've got 9 years no claims basically. That's protected as well, and been driving for 14 years, I think it is. Yeah, 14 years. It's 2007 I passed my test. So yeah, 14 years I've been driving. And they were exactly the same. Bang on. Going to be sort of 41 to 42 pound a month over the 9 months that Greenlight do it, plus the deposit and all that, whatever. But it was going to be the same. So draw there again. The next thing I looked at was tax, because you're going to have tax on your car as well, and that's one of the things that we have to spend money on. Again, that was exactly the same, couple of pence different, but I think that was because obviously each year it creeps up slightly by a couple of pence, so that was around £30 a month each. So next on running cost, we're going to talk about tyres. Now, this is where the VXR is going to get battered by the ST all day long, because the tyres for the VXR 235 35 19s, whereas the ST would run 225 40 18s. It's such a common tyre, you know. For the VXR, not so much. So to try and do it as fairly as possible, I did Uni Raw Rain Sport 5s for both. So for the VXR and the 235 35 19s, it was going to cost me for one tyre, not fitted, just the one tyre, without delivery either, £92.50 per tyre. That was, like I say, for the Rain Sport 5s. However, for the ST, for the 225 40 18s, it was only going to cost me £60.45. So, plus for the ST. Right, so moving on to modifications. In this, I've included what I would consider the most common mods that you will get. And to get the ST and the VXR to around the same sort of power, you're going to need to do these, what have I got, 4 mods? 1, 2, 3. These 4 mods basically. So this for me was where I kind of started with the ST, and it's how I'm going to be obviously continuing with the VXR, and that is induction kit, exhaust, front mount intercooler, and a map. So let's go through those. We'll start with the induction kit. It's called a crossover delete. With that, you can buy an air filter and a crossover delete, which obviously is, instead of coming up off the turbo and then over the engine, it just comes up off the turbo and round to the side, which is where the standard airbox brings in cold air anyway. ST, you've got the Group A induction kit, which to run that you're going to need the air filter, the silicon joiners, and an ECU relocation kit. You can buy those 3 things with the Group A induction kit from Ram Air or AirTech, and they'll pretty much provide you with all the things that you need to open a box, throw it on, and away you go. So the Astra, for the induction kit and the crossover pipe, it's coming in at £80, and for the ST, it's coming in at £150. So win for the Astra. The next thing I'll mention is a turbo back exhaust. These, to be fair, for a Cobra system, a catback Cobra system, turbo back system for the Astra, it was £775, and I found that on eBay. On eBay for the ST, I found a Cobra turbo back, and it was £780. So it's only £5 more expensive. So that's pretty much a draw. Then I'm going to move on to front mount intercooler. You're going to need one to keep the air temps cold. The front mount for the Astra comes in at £380, and that's with all the things that you need, which would be pipe work, the top hat on the Astra is where the throttle body sits. You have a little top hat and it comes off. I'll put a picture on the screen so you can see what it looks like. And that was coming in at £380 from MTC Motorsport. That was all in. For the ST, however, you're looking at £290 just for the front mount intercooler. And yes, you can use your standard pipe work, but if you want the extra pipe work, so you're looking at the cold side boost hose, hot side boost hose, just for those two extra pipes, it comes in at £412, which was the cheapest I could sort of find it for, and sort of see, very similar. I didn't really want to say, the front mount from MTC Motorsport is 380, but it's only 290 for the ST, because I think for a front mount for the VXR, I'm not sure you can get them, to be honest. Just an intercooler, but it'd be a lot cheaper than £380. So for me, that was a win for the Astra, because the kit that you get for 380, you get all them pipes, you get the hot side, the cold side, you get it all. So you don't need to buy anything else. Whereas, like I say, the ST, you're going to have to buy more. The last thing that I want to talk about on this one, on the mod side, is the remap. Now, this was a slight win price-wise for the VXR, but usability-wise, for me, the ST, you can't beat the remap system that you can get for the ST. The one that I had on mine was the Dream Science kit, and that's £475. But for that, you've got unlimited maps. Not unlimited maps, but you can change the map whenever you want. If you get something else, you can add the map. You can change the map yourself. You just plug it in the OBD port, go through the settings on the screen that you get. It's easy, it'd take you minutes just to change it over. If you wanted to then go for a cruise up the country and you wanted a bit better miles per gallon, if that's even a thing on the STs, you can change the map. It takes you 2 minutes, whereas a remap on the VXR, it's a standard remap, So the average price really was between 350 and 400. And like I say, yes, that's a win price wise, but for me, you can't beat them Dream Science kits. You really can't. So take what you will from that. From what I've read online, from what I've found myself having the car, this VXR, and all the things that I looked at when I was trying to buy them, both cars, the Astra smashes it. There are so many different common faults for the ST as opposed to the VXR. It's hands down an absolute belter. You're looking at pretty much 3 things for the VXR that's going to go wrong, that's going to stop you from driving the car. and I'm talking literally just getting in and going. And that for the VXR, you're looking at valve stem seals, turbo, and gearbox. Now, with the valve stem seals, you're looking at, okay, it's not cheap. It's around £300, but it's £300. You take it to the garage, they sort it for you, it's done. Worry free then. Same with the turbo, it's a bit more expensive, it's like £500, but you give it to the garage, you're good to go. And that £500 is with an uprated stage 1 core. For the gearbox, it's around £300, as long as you don't need too many of the end casings, I think there was, or whatever it was that we'd spoke about. You know, it's £300, £350 at tops. But once it's done, it's done. You know, whereas the ST, one thing, and it cost you more than what those three things did that I've just mentioned, and that's the liners. Now I know everyone says, oh, you know, doesn't happen all the time or to all of them and that, but it's a major common problem with the STs. Second hand, for you to change your own engine, and that's to do it yourself, you're looking at a minimum of £1,000 for a new engine. And to me, it's just, that's a massive amount of money to outlay in one go, you know, whereas valve stem seals 300, turbo 500, it's so much more easier to get to a 500 or 300 than it would be for £1,000. Then you've got the time and the fitting of it. You've got all the little things that you're going to need, like any seals in not injector seals, the intake plenum. You got the 5 green seals, they need changing. Gaskets, turbo gaskets, you know, exhaust manifold gasket. You just so many other different things. It could go up to, I don't know, 1,100, 1,200, you know, just to get all the bits that you need. That's before you even throw the engine in. The block mod, it's around £800. Again, that's still quite a lot of money just to outlay in one go. And you're going to be without the car for, I don't know, a good couple of days. And Wasp just tried to attack me, and you see that? Oof. You haven't got your car for a couple of days, so it's like, the next one I found was clutch. You want the clutch doing in one of them. Any ST, any power through the ST, and you're going to need a clutch. It's almost like the standard one is on the very top of its power band. You want to run a remap, you know, you might get away with an induction kit, small things like that, but as soon as you get the remap on there to help all those modifications you've done, you're going to need an RS clutch. Now they're like £800 roughly. The sensors, oh my god, the amount of different sensors that could go wrong or do go wrong, the boost solenoid, the MAF, the map, all adds up. More sensors, more things to go wrong, more common problems. And with those, I'll finish with the drive shafts, which is like £500 ish, you know, give or take. That's on a good day, you know. And again, that's probably without fitting. You've then either got to do it yourself, and with that, then you're going to need new gearbox oil, blah blah blah. The list just goes on and on. So for me, the Vauxhall smashes it there, because there's just so many common problems with the ST, and they're just real expensive. It was one of the reasons when I looked for my ST replacement engine, I made sure it came with the block mod done, and I managed to get the RS clutch and flywheel with it as well. So I kind of got lucky there, but that was £1,350, I think it was. Then I had to fit it myself. So I was £1,500 in the hole before I'd even got the engine in, and that was then me and my mate put it in over Christmas, and that was that. So, you know, to outlay such a massive amount for different things on the ST, whereas the Astra I could do, so £1,350 for the engine and the RS clutch. That's all second hand. I could do all of the common problems for the VXR, the valve stem seals, the turbo, and the gearbox, and I'd still have change left over, you know. So for me, massive win for the VXR. So guys, if you made it this far through the video, I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let me know what you thought of everything that I've just listed and spoke about. I did try to do it fairly, but for me, landslide when it came to the common problems, and it was for that reason that I ended up wanting to switch away from the ST. Just things like I felt like I was driving a ticking time bomb all the time, waiting for something to go wrong, expecting something to go wrong, whether it be a cracked liner. Yes, I had the block mod, but it still goes. Even with block mod, so I was just constantly worrying what's going to happen to the car. I don't want to really put my foot down. I don't want to enjoy that nice 5-pot note, which, let's be honest, it is one of the nicest sounding cars going. The hands down for that. There ain't no stopping you there. But for me, I was fed up of driving a time bomber because that's how it felt to me. Drop your thoughts down below, guys, and I will see you very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.